I'm so excited. Yo, we dead ass have like we have an album.
Good.
We have an album and we got theme music.
Yeah,
That's hard.
folks. Once again, welcome to a very special episode of I'm Not Supposed to Be Here.
Ooh, what? Who's this new voice? Who's this new voice over in the corner over there?
This man of mystery whispering in our ears.
And then I was like, but
Sir, go ahead and introduce
man.
yourself.
Free Espiritu. Today, Free the Spirits 2.
I like the way you said that. I was reading it. I was like, free spirit too. But nah, you sound much better when you say it. And y'all might not recognize my voice. I am one of your co-hosts, Trent L. Dixon. I'm here with my mans.
Yes, Christian, also Eclectic Sage. We are, in the building. We are missing a co-host. We're missing Lucas today, but he's here in spirit.
He's always here in spirit.
But we have to free the spirit. That's what I'm hearing.
Hey.
He's at bars.
Always with the ball.
Rapper as a part-time.
Trying to make it full time, right?
Yeah, Tails of a part-time rapper. That sounds like a fire little EP.
Yo. Well, I'm gonna put that in my notes right now. But I'm gonna let you take it. What are we doing today?
So
Sir
today
Sage?
we have a special episode. So a little bit of backstory. So essentially, scrolling through Instagram, got a little for the ASMR for the listeners.
So on your right ear, you're gonna hear this, and then on your left ear,
We're gonna unpackage the album now.
Right? What does your shirt say? What does your shirt say? Because you always have like some like little cryptic message on the side.
Oh, I send back all your energy to you.
Oh, wow,
Yeah.
that's fire. And
That's
then you
from
also have the graffiti. on
unreleased
there.
song called Batata, and it's like affection for a shorty, but you're not trying to like pull on her by like subconsciously thinking about her. So I'm like, hey beloved, I just send all your energy back to you. Like, you on my heart though, but I ain't gonna just walk around carrying somebody else's
man.
whole spirit or essence. You feel me?
Oh man, this is kind of a good segue because like one of my favorite songs on like the project. Wait, what's the name of the project?
Yeah,
What's the
tell us
name of the project?
Al Eagle. So Al is like, how I learned about it was like learn about, I guess I'll just throw some names like a Malachi Z. York or just Morris Sciences.
Oh, what
And
is this? What is this?
They would use these because the Moors were like the ancient, like the European.
Oh,
or
the
just-
Moors, like the Span, like
they,
it was
they-
like the
they
the
set up
Islamic.
civilization in what we know today as Europe or even North Africa or even throughout the continents and all that sort of thing.
Yeah,
So,
for like context, it's like a lot of the Moors
Facts.
before the Spanish Inquisition and before they were kicked out, they did a lot of the architecture and the mathematics and stuff in Spain.
Word.
So, but they were because of like religious disputes, a lot of them were like Christian focused in Spain and everything. And at the time, Spain had different kingdoms within it, and then the Moors were kind of like in northwestern Africa. Well, it was over like on the bend of Africa, closer to like the Iberian Peninsula, which is Spain.
Facts.
And they kind of just migrated up and brought a lot of the developments that they had over. And then during the Spanish Inquisition, they kind of got kicked out. And then a lot of the history kind of got, a lot of the developments that they had within like the Spanish Peninsula became ingratiated in the society, but not so much the origins of that knowledge was like translated.
So it kicked out their history with them.
Yeah, pretty much in the Spanish Inquisition along with other historical events. But yeah.
Yeah, that's bars right there. That's crazy.
Yeah,
we
no.
get deep into it. So we normally do like a how you been. Get right into it.
But even like a certain person like Muhammad Ali, he was first Cassius Clay, or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he was Lou Alcindor. So like when these brothers went into Islam, them changing their names was kind of like giving a spiritual significance upon them. So like Ali, that has a certain meaning, just that last name. So Al, that word means the exalted one. So then Al Eagle is kind of like an eagle's already a high flying bird. So it's like the highest height possible, like the highest soaring perspective like ever like
Wow,
conceivable. You know what I'm saying?
close
So,
to omniscience.
yeah,
Okay.
so the Exalted Eagle, that's the name of the album, like Al Eagle. And I saw it on a license plate. Some dude had it on his license plate. I was like, and I go to this park, Crotona Park in the Bronx, and I literally be seeing hawks and eagles and stuff like that. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I gotta follow the symbolism for real. Like even raising my own perspective and my own like mindset and how I see things. It was kind of like this whole journey of even how these songs came together.
No, that's so fire.
Nice.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed the project. It was so like crazy because I was just like, because I'm in the midst of just like working on music and
Yeah.
I've been like in the studio with him. I fell asleep last time I was in the studio, so I'm not even gonna lie.
I mean, you're doing a lot right now, so
Yeah, I was for context like what's it called? I met Free. I believe it was at an open mic or at an event for our other friend Prince Inspiration, who I also mentioned in the Cypher episode, if you ever heard.
Shouts out to Prince.
Yeah, but another great creative. But yeah, one of my first introductions was like, hey, we're just gonna kind of just drive around, kind of go to this party after this open mic. There was like maybe 3 people in there, but we performed our heart outs and we're just like, hey, he was like, oh, you make great music. It was over in it was in Coexist Gaming in Midtown.
Oh, facts.
And it was basically like a basement level. I still go there from time to time, but it was like in a basement level. And he was just like, yeah, this is a great thing. And then they wanted to go to like a party afterwards. So we just went. Wow. And then,
yeah, I had never met before that.
I feel like I met you pretty much like around there that time.
And Prince too, like.
No, I knew Prince before.
Oh, okay.
So Prince put me on, but I didn't know you.
Thanks.
So, yeah. So, flash forward, the events of that night were pretty funny because we ended up not getting into that that party.
Yeah.
But like, it was just so funny because we were just like all just chilling out in the party, like trying to get in, but we just knew we were not going to, but we didn't want to leave. And it was definitely a core memory of my experience. And yeah, flash forward and Freeze just, I think it's like 4 a.m. He's still dropping everybody home, and I was like, that's a real person. And every time I see him, it's just like, this is a really cool, interesting way to pivot and move his art, and it's very unorthodox. And I'm just like, I really appreciate the art, and I'm like observing. I'm just like, this is cool. I'm like looking at the cadence. I'm like, oh, he's doing something different. And then, for instance, like back to the album, like one of the songs in the intro was called Neptune, and I was just like, the harmonies and everything are so, like the whistles and everything. It feels very euphoric, but also kind of just like you're in a new space. Like it's like, you know, when they have that opening scene in like James Cameron's Avatar and everything, you're kind of just like floating in and you're just like, what the heck is that? But
and ladies and gentlemen, I'm now going to whistle.
Nah, Jules from the X loves his whistles. Yeah. he be like his whistles are on fire. Oh man,
is that like your substitute ad lib?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's dope.
Pretty much.
A lot of people out there whistling.
Ad libs are tough. Ad libs are tough. But what is your impression of what you heard so far?
So I didn't
go grab my phone real quick.
But I got you. So
He didn't like it. He thought it was trash.
all right, so we're just gonna whisper for the rest of the episode until Christian gets back. No, so I didn't get to really dive into it because I misunderstood what was going on. But my initial impressions, it's a really easy listen. Like I loved how it flowed.
Okay.
And I was listening. I was kind of taken aback. I was like, yo, he's like flowing really easily. And then some raunchiness will come out. I was like, yo, that's different. I fuck with that. Yeah. So I'm definitely going to give it another spin. I always feel like, especially whole projects deserve more than one listen to make a full judgment on it.
I appreciate it.
But I'm fucking with it so far.
Thank you.
I'm excited to sit down and, my own space and really take it in.
I appreciate it. That's dope.
My bad.
Yeah, that was kind of my fault. I should have gave Trent a little bit more time, but also
It's okay. A lot's been going on too. So
yeah, a lot's been going on admin side. But I really wanted to like give this album a little thing, and then also just kind of hear your opinions because I heard you were listening to some of our episodes. So I was like, oh, okay. I was like, he's liking us back too. What inspired
tuned in too, like
right?
I was like it was just dope.
What
It's dope to be here.
What inspires your album art?
Oh yeah, that's one thing. I kept looking to it. I was like, yo, that's kind of dope. I was fucking with that. Yeah,
That's why. Thank you. So, like, I definitely wanted to paint an eagle. I wouldn't consider myself a painter, but like after my studio sessions, after everything was recorded, I was just like, let me go, because it was in Brooklyn. I recorded that, so I mixed and mastered everything. Like, it was just a triumph for me, because I ain't mixed and mastered my whole project before. So I was like,
that's a big feat too.
yeah, word. So I got me a canvas. I was like, let me walk to Prospect Park, have a day out of it. Sat down. There was a shorty doing yoga on the side. I'm like, I can't focus on you, shorty, right now. I'm focused right now, shorty. I can't give no attention to you right now. So I had me a day. I had me a mango. I laid on the grass. The sun was beaming.
Shout out beaming.
Shout out to mango, my
yeah, mango's
favorite fruits.
Mango's fire. Freeze dried mango. It'd be hitting different.
That's it. That's all you need. Just a mango.
Honestly.
And I had that. I painted it. I started with like, I drew the eagle, and then I was like, what's the color of his beak? Let me put the yellow there. And then the symbol in the middle is a Reiki symbol. And Reiki is just a Japanese form of energy healing. So,
wow, so you put a lot of kanji and stuff like that. So you
yeah.
I like that you
Yeah.
like combine a lot of different symbolisms, like not wholly dependent on one culture, and it's just like, oh yeah, you just be kind of floating about and just kind of finding like things that you like, taking what you need. Very
Word.
Yeah, very cool.
Question: as an artist, is this your first time like ever painting, like sitting down? Or?
No, I
Is-
painted before.
okay,
But I
it's
just
just
wouldn't
like-
consider myself like an official painter, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, so I'm saying I really like the composition, how everything fits as far as like where it's spaced. It's really good for the eye. You look at it, that's definitely got like an album cover feel.
That's
Right?
fire.
And I was like, this is really interesting, and also it's very abstract too. So if people are like fans of Basquiat and stuff like that, not to say it is a Basquiat,
He a big inspiration though.
But
big inspiration.
how does he inspire you? Because a lot of times I'd be looking at his story and trying to, well, some part of me was inspired for, at least for my hair, in terms of like freeforming, was inspired by like having read his story and having like went through my own kind of like hair journey and everything. So he inspires me in that way. And a lot of times just looking at his narrative and looking how his legacy is being carried on posthumously kind of like carries me forward. But yeah, how does he inspire you?
For me, when I first learned about him and learning that, because my family, they from Boticana, was known as Puerto Rico. So
Oh, you
learning
Puerto
that,
Rico?
Yeah.
Oh man, I
Word,
butchered that.
Boricua, facts.
Boricua. Oh man, the
So
parade is
learning
fire.
that he was half Puerto Rican, and then I feel like today's New York, it's just people trying to emulate what was happening in the 80s and 90s. Like
Yeah.
it's just like people just trying to achieve old glory, but knowing that he was really homeless out here, 70s, 80s graffiti, not accepted by the main art institutions, but still, he didn't give a fuck. He was just doing whatever came naturally to him, and you know what I'm saying? It's just interesting how when an artist die, that's when they shit get so big. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, what do you
So,
think,
like-
as to kind of expand the conversation, what do you think causes that? I know some of the mechanisms that cause that in terms of like the economic acceptance and kind of what that means as a person. A lot of because it's a limited thing, and we talked about it in like our other episode with like James Dean and everything. But yeah, what do you think personally causes a lot of your artistry to be praised when no one can give you your flowers anymore?
I feel like it's just the lore that gets attached to the story. Like, oh, how did they die? Oh, damn. Like, what was going through their mind leading up to the death? Like, a whole world gets created based on the death, and then it adds to the life, and then it gives more context to the art, and like, I guess people attach like a certain like mysticism to it. You know what I'm saying? Just because of damn they died and damn, like, you know, just that sort of thing. So I feel like it's that. Like I'll say it's that, and people not really knowing how to understand it. Or, you know.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times artists have to face being misunderstood the entire life for them to be afterwards dissected and understood. On a point, which is kind of a sad predicament because I feel like a lot of artists try to propel the world forward, and a lot of times that forward change is not something that's visible to them in their lifetime, or maybe they do see it, but very much so from a jaded position or from a cynical position.
Live long enough to see yourself become
I'm the villain. Yep. But we're getting kind of deep in this episode. How do you feel about that, Trent? How do you feel about like a lot of, because you're a very artistic, a very artistic person. You like to kind of just bring a lot of good feelings and good energy to people. How do you feel about like what it means to be an artist, publishing something, having it let it sit? So, not to say that you released the album, but but I've known for a fact that you spread and you give like a lot of work, like even for the pictures that you did recently for the photo walk and everything.
Nice.
Like just having something kind of sit there and knowing that it may become something that may be like valued higher as your life progresses rather than just kind of valued at the position that you're on now.
As far as from myself, I don't trip on that. Like when I'm creating, it's about creating that thing, you know, and it's about getting whatever I need to get out, whether it has to do with money or whatever. That's not my concern. It's only really with the art, you know, and making sure that I'm good with it, you know. I mean, well, let me not say that, because I do appreciate and I want people to see it for what it is, but it's, you know, I'm not gonna get, I mean, there may be times where I get hung up on, I'm like, shit, you know, I posted that and nobody saw it, you know, I didn't get any likes. But then you know what I'm saying, whenever I get like that, I take a step back and I'm like, you know what, I still put the time and energy to create that, and that's the accomplishment, you know. Now we got to go on to the next journey, you know.
How do you guys feel about art being released in the digital age? Especially with albums and music, because a lot of times music kind of gets devalued, especially when you have a project.
I'll let Freya attack that one for a second.
We were talking about it. So for context, we went to the pizza shop the other day, and we were talking about how virality has changed from, let's say, like the early 2010s. Because I had seen like a commercial. I'm not gonna give this commercial if you want to find it, but basically it was talking about like the song "What Does the Fox Say?" I forgot the gentleman that created that little viral hit. But yeah, it was kind of like you didn't even have to watch anything and you already heard about it, and it was kind of like a consensus, and a lot of it deals similarly to how you have like different decades, and they kind of like, you look at the 80s and that's like the monoculture is what they call it in like philosophy when they kind of dissect it. And it's like, oh yeah, this is like in the 80s they had big hair, they had this type of style, they had that weird rug in the bowling alleys, like it was all that type of stuff. And we kind of had some type of semblance of that in the beginning era of the internet, but a lot of it with like these new kind of social medias, whether it comes in the form of TikTok or like reels and stuff, a lot of it is being ultra personalized and kind of scattering the attention of people, so much so that it's kind of hyper focused. So kind of sharing art in that environment is a lot different now, and especially since a lot of people want to just share their art like very willingly. Like I know for a fact you just were like, I just want to share my music and try to. So it's a debate a lot of times with musicians releasing singles or release in albums, and which one is worthwhile in this kind of era of virality. So to kind of bring it back, how do you go about like kind of releasing music and everything?
Like, as of now, how I'm approaching it, it's more of from a place of like, okay, I'm getting this calling, I'm getting these melodies, I'm hearing these beats, I'm like, oh, I gotta get on this like that, and then I might, because how I do it, I might hear it off YouTube, I do the screen record, I freestyle, and then I might have a whole concept just over the freestyle, but then I might come back to it later, write out the full song of it. So then I'm like, okay, but let me make sure I honor that message I'm getting, you know what I'm saying? So with that, that's one aspect, but then it's like, I despise Instagram, like, you know what I'm saying?
No, I feel you. I have to be on there every day.
Yeah, I don't know, cause like I feel like if your energy good, it's gonna pop regardless. So that's kind of like, like ain't no one, I can't deny whatever spiritual guidance I'm receiving. I can't question it. I'm just like, okay, I got this music. I feel like it's really my purpose to go full-fledged with it, so I can't really question it. But Instagram is just like oh my goodness, like
fighting that algorithm, fighting that algorithm.
Yeah, and I don't want to live a life on my computer. I don't want to live a life on the phone, especially us being electric beings. Yeah. Like I'm feeling my hand go numb just off of holding the phone, cause like our own body's electricity, magnetism, and then you mixing it with this shit. I'm just like, yo, throw this out, like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to find those new ways of really tapping in, and it is the community building aspects, you know what I'm saying? So, but my approach is like, one of them gonna catch fire, I don't care. One of them is just gonna hit, you know what I'm saying? Like, like even with Teary Out Apologize, like, I'm just like, you know, it's
Speaking
gonna be
of that
something.
song,
You know,
I love the heck out of that song. The way that it was so crazy because I saw it and I was just like, nah, this is the confidence on it, because you have a nice flow that's very comfortable, and it's very hard to do that if you're like a musician, like just being comfortable in a space, and it translates like that. Like even for myself, I'd be like, it sounds like I'm rapping, like it doesn't, like I'm rapping,
I see what you're saying.
but he just sounds like he's just like speaking to you in a similar way, and it's just like, or like he hits the melodies, but it's not trying too hard, it's not trying to prove itself in the sense. So it's like, and I like how it just it's juggling a lot of themes, but not so much so where it's like in your face, like this is of the utmost importance. And I love the lyrics of the song. I'm gonna read a couple, but more so, how do you feel? While I look for the lyrics and everything, how do you feel about Out Ego versus the algorithm? How do you, that should be the title card.
I was just thinking, that's a dope like follow-up project.
But I'm the algorithm, you feel me? Like we the algorithm. So like I'm saying, I'm gonna crack the code. Like I don't care. Like I'm seeing where my faults is at, where it's like, okay, maybe something in my expression might be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just getting my energy to the point where whatever abundance I want to come to me, it's going to come to me. So I'm not looking at it like, oh, man, that shit got... Sometimes my ego be tripping like, damn, that shit got only 10 likes, bro. Like, look at the followers, bro. Like, what y'all doing? Like, I'll be tight. But when I was in my ego before, like with my odd son, when I first dropped that and I was doing my first shows, like, and shout out Prince Inspiration, like, he really reached out, was like, hey, bro, I got a show. Like, that's really the connector, bro. Like he's really a legend. And when I did those first shows and I had my aunt son and people telling me, oh, the beat banging, oh, your flow lit, oh, your performance crazy, oh, I know it's an open mic, but you was the best performer out of the open mic. I'm like, my ego kind of got tripped up on that. And what the universe did was put me right on my ass, you know what I'm saying? Where I was like lacking confidence, where I was like imposter syndrome and shit like that. Yeah. So now I'm like, I just got to heed the message, heed the calling. Go for it. Instagram don't mean jack shit. You feel me? That's how I'm like with it. Cause if I feed into Instagram, it's gonna consume you. You feel me? Like,
yeah. How do you feel about feeding the algorithm in terms of like releasing art? Cause a lot of times for me, I'd be like, I gotta do this many things. I was just talking about with my other friend, like how we have to kind of strategize and kind of show things. Even for the podcast, sometimes I'm like, man, I need to post more clips. I have to like put more stuff to kind of make it so that it facilitates the art while also allows the art to kind of get its shine. And how do you feel about that?
I mean, like I said earlier, I try not to trip off that, because I know if you like you said, let it consume you, then you're gonna sit there and be depressed all day. I just kind of, much like you, when I'm inspired, I put it out there, and if not, then I just let it be from where it is at that certain point. Excuse me. Speaking about virality, did I say that right? That's a fucking word.
No, right? It's a tough one. I definitely stumbled.
Speaking about virality, it's just, I don't know. Art in the internet age is very weird. A lot of artists and a lot of art now is about mimicry. It's about doing what you've seen, as opposed to, and I'm probably speaking more to hip hop than anything else, but also beyond hip hop now, as opposed to being more authentic or more original. That's not to say that everything that came out then was original, because it wasn't.
Yeah.
But like when I started out drawing, I was copying comic book pages and stickers and things like that. And eventually I let that morph it into a style. But now it's like you have like these TikTok videos and these shorts that are all about, okay, let me take this clip and just recreate it,
Yeah.
and a lot of times it's not even putting its own spin. So I think that portion of it bothers me, because I know that we have a lot of talented people out there, but the goal is for, to go viral, to get views, and the perception is doing that is having to repeat what's done before, repeat what went viral before. And that's, I don't know, that part is kind of strange, but I do love the aspect of just being able to work on something for hours and being able to turn around and just show people across the world. Like my mom is in Texas. I can send her a picture that I took that I thought was like really crazy, and
You've been taking back crazy pictures. I'm not gonna lie, they've been fire.
oh, appreciate that.
I've been showing this to my friends. I'm like, this is how you compose a subject. makes it look larger than life. Nah, I always love like just showing my friends art, because like I had somebody tell me that I was just like, your one superpower is meeting people where you are and just sharing the art. And I was like, if that's a superpower, that's the best one I can have. Because now you guys are tough. You guys are fire.
That's what it's about though. Like the collaboration, that's really the main superpower. Like once you tap into that, like it's not really about who Instagram could show your thing to. You got your homies that's gonna share it there, tell this person about it, and you never know who's listening or who could really pick up on
who it's gonna reach.
Yeah, so I feel like that's key.
Honestly, and it's given me a lot of cool like experiences, because if I didn't know Prince, I wouldn't have went to that Coexist gaming. I wouldn't have met Free. We wouldn't have done a lot of cool things. Like
Facts.
met him many times after. He was the DJ at my first freestyle cipher. I was actually got my first flyer, and he was the DJ.
Fire.
Just a lot of cool things. A lot of things that kind of, you never know your impact. And this kind of ties with Basquiat. You never know your impact until somebody says it. Or until like after you realize.
Yeah.
And I wanted to touch upon that a lot this episode. So I was just like, because a lot of times things get released kind of like, and we were talking about it before in terms of like legacy and things standing the test of time and what that kind of means. And I feel like even if things don't perceivably last the test of time in your perspective, you never know how much that like influences and affects people, and like the time that your art hits somebody.
Facts. Like even if what you create may not hit the world, it may hit somebody that affects the world. Because so many times you'll see an artist doing an interview and they'll reference some kind of obscure piece of art. It's like, like I go to this, when I'm feeling down, or when I need I need something to speak to my soul. And that's crazy. And I've done, like, a lot of my favorite artists, I've discovered so many gems just by listening to interviews, and like, I've never heard of this, and then going to it. But no, you said something. You said something interesting, which I was thinking about when I was listening to it in the hallway, about legacy. So, if you could control it, how would you want this project to be remembered?
That's crazy.
Yeah, we hit it.
Well,
I'm not supposed to be here not playing. We got the questions.
Damn. I think as an individual project, just as like do it yourself, like so one of my like brands where I like do my events and stuff, I label that. It used to be called Hood Booger, but I changed it to Boog Ateliers, and the word ateliers means like a workshop, or like in high school how they got like the wood crafting class or whatever, something like that.
Wood shop.
Yeah, wood shop, like just that idea of go in, throw whatever ideas together, come out on the other side, okay, feel a sense of completion about it. So I would say that, because like even Neptune, I freestyled that. Like some of the songs, it was just I had to make it right then and there. I couldn't really think too much about it. I saw the ideas kind of developing before me. It wasn't like, oh, I got this banging song. It was more like it's just coming. It was just coming to me.
Yeah,
so,
it wasn't preconceived.
Yeah.
And I feel like you were saying, like it was kind of going off a lot of the feels, but also kind of like putting a lot of the stuff that you like look and like even in the cover we were saying before, like you're just like, I just went to Prosper Park, grabbed the
and
mango.
just did it, yeah.
You know what's dope about that? Like just like I was telling you before, like that's how it feels. It feels so free and calm and effortless. And even looking at the album, like that's what I would. After looking at the cover, that's kind of what I would expect going into it.
Thank
so
you.
very good.
I'm grateful that came across. Like, yeah, I'm just grateful for that.
Yeah,
like,
nah.
I ain't really put too much pressure on myself, like, cause like I said, it's just these ideas is coming.
Yeah.
I'm in a good age in life, you know. I just
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah,
go all
yeah,
in, you know.
yeah.
I gotta go all out.
I got a question about that. So,
Yeah.
was there ever a time where you would pressure yourself? Was like, yo, I don't know if I'm gonna have this many. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough ideas. You know, was there ever a time where you would just pressure yourself, like, yo, I gotta sit down and I gotta write 30 ideas for songs, and I gotta do. Were you ever in that headspace? And if so, how did you push forward to get out of that?
I don't think I ever like felt that. Like,
That's dope.
you know,
That's
you know
fine.
what I'm saying?
He said that's dope.
You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I also put 10,000 hours in. You know what I'm saying? I also
yeah, I feel you.
early years, teenage years, I was listening to hip hop. I was listening to Nas. I listened to every instrumental I could find and wrote a million songs to them. Like that would never get heard.
Yeah,
you know?
no.
I did like at night I'd be crying trying to sing Drake and Party Next Door. You know what I'm saying? Like, to my favorite girl. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like I was there. Like you know like. So now you know. So, and then like maybe a few years ago, trying to find the right equipment or like how am I get this interface or how am I get this mic or how am I learn how to mix and master? Like those, I would say was
That's why I said when you
the
say
things
you
in the
mixed
way.
it, mastered it,
Yeah, bro.
just mixing in general was like a science. It's an engine.
Yeah.
It's an engineer.
For real.
Not
The frequencies, all that you gotta really know.
you have to know frequencies. You have to know like
It's doable.
different EQs and everything, equalizers,
Yeah,
mixer buses,
What different plugins do,
chains.
change.
And even like ad libs. Like,
Panning.
how'd you find your whistle ad lib? Because I find ad libs so hard. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm gonna admit I don't.
You don't
like-
have your signature ad
I
lib
don't
yet?
have a signature. I felt J. Cole. He was just like, I got my ad lib. I got my. On that one song off of Born Sinner. I'm not gonna say the ad lib because we're trying to keep it PG, but. But yeah, but he was just like, I found my ad lib. I was like, I feel him because that. So hard when you're trying to be when you're just kind of like rapping bars.
What's his ad lib though?
Hold on, we gotta bleep it.
We gotta believe it. Hold on. Wait. I got you.
You were like, "Bitch."
Oh man. No, but that's dope though. So the stress was kind of more about, and not even really, maybe not even stress, but like about learning the technical side of it. Oh, that's so dope. I mean, because I'm asking because I always think about photography. I went through that. Never with drawing, but probably drawing because that was something that started way early for me, and I was always doing it. But no, I remember being in school. And like you have to come up with a project every week for photography. I'm like, shit, I don't know how I'm gonna come up with the project. And then it's like you put it, like you say, you put in so much time. Like it's kind of like I can come up with three projects just like that. Like, that's dope. That's why I was asking that.
Nah, it's a good question though. I feel like my first memory too with music, it was definitely. I remember writing a rap, and my pops was mad strict, so I was like trying to like. I remember he came in, and I had one rap. I was writing like, out partying, sipping beer with my friends. I thought beer was like a curse word or something. So I remember he came in the room, and I changed the word beer to juice. I was like, no, like he read it, he picked it up, read it, put it right down. He ain't say nothing. I'm like, damn, man, he gonna do me like that. But I feel like. I'm trying to remember how I wanted to tie it
I'm
in.
imagining it's like, cops pulled us over, had to hide the
What?
juice.
Hide the juice, like,
We all faded off the juice.
I faded off the
party. Dancing with my friends, like some shit like that.
Yo, those childhood rhymes are classic.
Yo.
Oh my gosh, nah. them childhood ones be fire though. I
do.
feel like
They
they're the
do.
most innocent.
Wait, do you remember your first rap ever? That
It
you
was
wrote?
that. It was like,
Oh, that was
I
the one?
partying with my friends, sipping beer with my friends, like something like that. Like,
It's like, what's cool? I'm
or
rap
it was
about
cool.
that. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, but I feel like I'm trying to tie it in with like the not feeling like I would not have ideas sort of thing. Like I feel like that memory is kind of like even kind of a chip on my shoulder, like whether it was him not having a reaction to it or the fear of him like thinking I was doing something bad by writing this certain word.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, it made me want to dive in more just to like kind of get at people even more. But then even in high school, maybe I would be like, oh yeah, I wrote like 10 songs yesterday. And I remember one friend in high school, he was like, oh, I bet they was all trash. I was like, you know what I'm saying? But in the back of my mind, I always knew, man, they ain't trash. So it's just that idea of like, I ain't losing no ideas because like, I got this or I got that over there or this, you know what I'm saying? Like,
No, but
I think it's that sort of like mental process, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
You know?
You kind of learn how to pull from everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So how do you go about lyrics? Because for me, like that was a good example. Because I remember when I was younger, I was scared somebody would like read my lyrics. Even now, like even now, like I rarely put like any expletives or any curses or anything kind of taboo. And even if I like do, I like censor it. I put a little asterisk. I don't even put the full word. Like if you look at my notes, it's so funny. And I feel like a lot of that stems from like when I was younger, is just like having people have false impressions of you.
Yeah.
And like and a lot of that happens when people like misinterpret lyrics or that type of doing that. And then also like just kind of I've been trying to practice being more vulnerable in lyrics too. And that's a difficult process too.
That is.
facts.
It's a very difficult process because it's just like, nah, there's no filter.
Yeah.
There's no filter. And I feel like Trent and I were talking about the Kendrick album earlier. We're not going to talk about the feelings because he's still processing. But I grieve different. But that was a segue for I love this part. I really love this portion of Teary Eyed. I apologize. It was real neat of how I found here that I never see ya. Yeah, I've been fine for a minute for a few seminas. I just want to kick my feet up with my senorita love. And I was just like, the way that you had the intonation that hit different. But what inspires your kind of lyricism? Because you don't really be barring out per se. Like I know you can. Like I know you could just bar out, but you just choose not to. And I do the same thing sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like I can bar out, but sometimes it's not necessary. So when did you kind of hit that kind of like epiphany? Like I don't have to bar out. I just have to give the feeling.
I think definitely just leaning into the feeling, like not feeling trapped by my masculinity, like, and just being like honoring the feminine creative powers. And also if I'm like rapping or singing to a woman, like how is she going to resonate with this? But then it's definitely the feeling, because I would listen to a beat and like I said, I just freestyle. So like some of them, when the initial freestyle for that song, like all the words wasn't fully thought out, but then I'm listening to, I'm like, okay, what could I mean here? Like, oh, real, you know what I'm saying? And like the freestyle would kind of mold it for me, and then I would just hone into the parts in the playback where I'm like, okay, what word could possibly be said there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think just tapping into the deep depths of the subconscious mind too, like the things in the, you know what I'm saying? Like I know at my heart of hearts, I love love, you know what I'm saying? I want to like just be like,
so you just like you like writing love songs,
you know? But Bronx, New York, it got me like, you know what I'm saying? So,
I love you, but don't test me.
But how do you feel about that? Like living in the Bronx and just be like, you know, I'm in my certified lover boy era. Like, like no Toronto, but like, yo, I
just stopped giving a fuck about New York City in general.
Oh, damn, not you disowning the city. I love the city though.
I do too, but
it's a love-hate relationship.
It's one of those things that'll hold you back if you're, you know, if you hold yourself indebted to it. You
exactly.
know?
Like, and I'm I know where I will further grow is outside of here. So I'm in a place where I'm not really attached to it at this present time. Like if I leave for a couple months, then come back, I'm gonna be like, oh man, that's dope. But I've just probably seen it too much, and then
Understandably.
I just don't know what people's doing.
Yeah,
here,
you were born and
There's
raised?
a little bit too much people on top of each other, and it's like one person zooted out their mom, one person eating a pizza, walking down the street. It's like too much. Just like what I'm saying, what y'all doing?
Yeah, nah, you were born and raised here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not the same either. Like it's just a whole new city.
Yeah,
it's like
it's never the same from when you're kids.
Some of the family in Florida, so it's like,
oh man, the
type
place
shit.
where all New Yorkers go to rest.
Yeah.
Oh
For
man,
real.
it's literally like the one tropical place all New Yorkers know. I don't know why.
Yeah.
They don't want to move anywhere. Like they could go to Puerto Rico, but like it's the territory. Like they could fly down there, but they're like, I guess Florida.
Yeah, we just go Florida. The Yankees practice there. Yeah, it's close enough. You know what I'm saying?
It starts the spring season down there. Oh man, what's your opinions on nostalgia? Because you touched upon it before, and your music sounds very nostalgic. Feels like a lot of times you'd be reminiscing on stuff.
That's interesting. Nostalgia. I think.
Or I've been thinking about this lately. So before you were talking about how like a lot of people try to reclaim a lot of like the highlights of the past, and I feel like a lot of that is kind of just trying to find identity outside of like the monoculture that I was talking about before. Like every decade has a thing, but nowadays you kind of walk around. There's so many different styles. There's so many different pockets. It's not like an agreed upon sense. Like if you look back in the 2010s, like what does a 2010s person look like?
Word.
What does an 80s person look like? What does a 50s person look like? Like it's a different type of thing, and I feel like now a lot of it is like a mix of nostalgia, even in the terms of like the videos and everything, the visuals, whether it's from up in top of the music industry where you have Drake having very nostalgic like kind of framing and kind of like coloring and everything with a lot of film type style edits, but also having kind of like the newer kind of like versions of that, like upgraded versions. So it's not completely vintage where a lot of it is analog. It's like a digital vintageness. Kind of bridging the gap between both of them. But yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot and been calling it like new nostalgia. And in the sense that you're trying to create something new that's just like supposed to emulate the past, and like a lot of it is mimicry. So like
an Instagram filter that adds green.
yeah, like you've seen it a lot more recently.
Yeah.
Like everybody's loving film. Film cameras are like dumb expensive because everyone and their moms decided to get one now because they're cool. And a lot of times, like my favorite music is very nostalgic too. Like Isaiah Rashad's album, Sunset Raid. That one was a very nostalgic album and kind of reminiscing on the past. A lot of my music reflects on the past too, or like just kind of small instances and trying to work on that. So how do you kind of put that feeling? Because a lot of times nostalgia when you're making art is different than like if you're consuming nostalgia, in my opinion. Like if you're consuming the nostalgia, it's just like it's kind of a comforting feeling. It's like somebody else's kind of story, and or like kind of like having a memory ingratiated with a piece of art, and then you kind of just go back to that. But when you're making something, it's like you are digging in from like a past moment, but like also like you're kind of cementing it and leaving it as a time capsule so that you can kind of process it. From my experience. So how do you kind of like deal with that when you're like creating stuff generally?
I want to ask this: like, do you think nostalgia like plays with the dopamine a little bit?
Oh yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
There's definitely something going on in the brain when you look at an old album cover or whatever you do to go back to that time. Looking at a picture, whatever.
You're gonna have nostalgia on your album cover.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 20
I'm gonna
years
call
from
it.
now.
Word.
Like I made
here,
that.
I was in this point, But I think because it's such a hyper stimulated time, like if you allow yourself to it's just so much stimuli. I feel like the nostalgia is just like it gives people a semblance of like
Stability.
yeah, maybe it's something like that. I would say for me, if I could relate to nostalgia in terms of how it showed up on this project, maybe it's like the songs my inner child would have wanted to make. You know what I'm saying? And maybe like, cause I guess I found myself in like a healing my inner child who maybe didn't speak up as much as he should have, you know, in certain situations that may have silenced him. So now I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like what he doing now, like what he saying now. So I feel like it may be that. And then the evolution is getting to that place where it's like, it's not like the inner child good. And now he grew up into this full form. And that's when the real bangers started coming, you know what I'm saying? You know? But I guess that's how it like showed up for me on this one. Like, like what my inner child would be singing, like, or even my heart, you know?
What's your favorite song that you made? Currently, it changes all the time.
I was gonna say on the album or period.
Just period. It doesn't have to. Can't.
Period.
Yeah, or like just one that comes into mind.
Damn.
That you just like a lot. Because I have songs that I like a lot that I'm just like, yeah, I like that one.
One that comes to mind, I'm trying to think if it's out.
You don't even got to be out. It could just be like,
Yeah.
this is a song that you like just generally. Like you could just say the title and just explain how you came about making that song. Because I feel like that's a fire. You don't really hear that in interviews. Like, what's your favorite song that you made?
One that comes to mind is called "Ode to You."
Ode to You. Whoa.
I made it like my sophomore year in college.
Oh,
and
wow.
I think it was really the first song I fully finished, like put it together myself in terms of getting it to sound relatively good.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it was the first one that I was like, oh shit, like fucking just blew my mind in terms of like I made this, you know? I think, yeah, Ode to You. And there's another like, I have my music on, it's called Andrew the Spirit. That was like my first rap name. So I have some of my old songs on there and some of them is on streaming. So I think Ode to You is on Ambrosia on my other Andrew the Spirit.
What made you change the name?
I think I was just like, what is the maturation look like? Like Andrew's cool, but you know, I was going through this like last week too. Like, should I go back to Andrew the Spirit? Should I be Free Spitty through like, was Free Spitty through like an ego play? Is Andrew the Spirit like the true, how I really should show up? Like to get people to relate to it because I'm using my first name, whatever. So I think initially why I went to Free Spitty through was it just sounded fucking cool. Like
Sometimes it's that simple.
Yeah, sometimes it's that simple.
It's the aesthetics.
Well, like, yeah, Free Spitty through.
Yeah, picking an artist name is hard.
Yeah, that too.
Picking an artist name is hard.
That's why I use Wu-Tang name generator.
Oh
Boom.
my Wu-Tang name generator was terrible. It was so bad.
Wait, what was it?
I was so disillusioned. I was like, Child just found his name through this. I was like,
It was Childish Illusion?
No, Child. It was like Childish
Childish
Gambino.
Gambino.
That's how he found his
He
thing, and I'm like,
did
I
get
was
some
so
of that.
disillusioned. I don't even remember because I had to wipe it from my memory. Like I was just so disappointed. I was trying that like for days, and I was like, I guess I'm not getting it from here, so I had to find a new avenue. I was like, dang, I can't take the shortcut.
He was on it though. Like even because the internet, like he probably did all of it as like a social experiment. Like I'm just gonna use this random name. I'm gonna make this album with, you know, or even Camp or, you know, his first project he dropped. Like it was probably just, oh, I'm a writer on 30 Rock, but I like making music. Let's see if this go for real, you know.
Hey.
But shout out to him. He really do it though.
Yeah.
Shout out to Childish Gambino.
Yeah. Mad love for him, honestly. Shout out to Atlanta, man. That show. Hiro Murai. Hiro Murai. I don't know why I said Murai, but oh my gosh, just his vision, his eyesight, his camera work, just like phenomenal.
Yeah, they go together well.
Yeah.
Let me see.
That's dope.
But how you been otherwise, other than the music? We don't gotta
Other
talk
than
about the album
music?
for straight.
Man, just been chilling, like just getting my mind right, body right, soul right.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
yeah, pretty much. You know, finding my way to get out the Bronx. Business stuff like
Facts.
because I like putting together proposals that I want to like send to businesses and stuff. Like
Yeah.
like even what I mentioned earlier with the Reiki sort of thing. So I'm like researching like spas and I'm gonna put together I guess they call it like a tech package or whatever. I'm gonna be like, I will come to your spa and I will offer these services and we could do ASMR. But stuff like that, you know, and
But
just
yeah.
research metaphysical stuff, spiritual stuff.
What's your
I just be
favorite
learning.
topic in metaphysics? And also, what do you think about metaphysics? What do you think metaphysics is?
I feel like it's just a scientific term to help get people situated within further
Existing.
spirituality, sort of things like.
Yeah,
You know?
I mentioned a lot of metaphysics here, like just generally, like just talking. I feel like it's just a part of my spirit now. But
dope.
I've been reading a lot of Foucault, who is not a metaphysical person, but he talks about basically the running joke is like everything's a prison.
I mean,
but
he's not wrong.
no, he's not. When you think about it, he's not wrong. But the reason why I bring that up is trying to see yourself in relation to a system, kind of tying back to our ego versus the algorithm, kind of touching upon a system and your relationship and understanding your spirituality and yourself. How do you find like spirituality in like the modern age? Because I'd be seeing you on IG just like in the forest, and I'm like, I wish.
Word. I feel like the technology is trying to distract it. Like even when I mentioned earlier with the electromagnetic frequencies that we just have naturally as.
So
in
do
this-
you
in these
feel
vessels.
technology is all bad?
No.
'Cause-
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's just something to be aware of. Like if you like me, when I'm on my phone all day and I got my I don't know if y'all seen The League or heard of The League.
No,
But it was like a show where
Oh yeah, I remember.
they
that
did
show.
like fantasy football.
Yeah.
So there was this one episode where the dude had the computer on his lap and his sperm count literally went lower. You know what I'm saying? So I know it's like if we overusing it and it's literally messing with our own personal energy, and then even relating to sperm count, like we could spiritually note that as the literal vessel for creation to come forth. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
that's a pretty good.
it just
way
gotta
to
be
think
mindful
about
of the
it.
uses of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
sort of thing.
technology is like an extension of a person or like our facility. So you can only extend so far.
Or even with the Chat GBT, like all of these have good use cases, but if people like are like, oh, how do I explain this idea? Oh, look it up on Chat. Like it's gonna start thinking for people. Like, and it probably already is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know?
that's a
People
that's
gonna
a,
look at it, use it for their intuition rather than listening to their gut. They gonna be like, they probably gonna, even with the GMO food, people probably gonna have bullshit in their gut. They ain't gonna listen to their gut instinct, and then they gonna go to Chat GPT to tell them what they thinking. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, wild.
Oh damn, we dipped in there. Yeah, technology. We're going through all of our episodes.
But that's just
Right? That's like-
yeah.
Yo, tell me about your dreams.
no, for real. What do you be dreaming about? What did you be dreaming about?
Damn, like Atlantis and ancient civilizations and
wow.
Word.
Do you feel I feel like this is an extension of nostalgia. Do you feel a kinship
My
with
voice shifted this.
studying old societies and wondering how they run and kind of understanding like the lore and the mysticism? And then with that, how do you reflect that to the modern era in a relationship to how people will view you as an artist, like legacy wise? Because we do the same thing for the past a lot of times. Like it'll be like, oh yeah, look at the grand lore of the construction of like these great ancient sites, but like they're no longer here to speak for the art that they created, for the context that it's in. And being an artist, you're faced with the same issue. And in one of the episodes, I talked about Ozymandias and how his legacy as a character in literature and stuff was like a very tough one, in the sense that the story of Ozymandias goes that somebody happens upon like this one statue and there's just an empty desert, and it's like, here lies Ozymandias, the leader of the greatest empire in the world, or something along those lines. So it's like trying to understand your relationship to how you understand societies, because you look at different things. You have the kanji, you look at this type of thing, you look into different meanings and symbolisms across cultures, and the lore and the mysticism from past peoples. And how do you feel that in present that you're doing that for your own artistry?
What comes to mind? So
That's a tough question.
good-
That's a tough question.
So I'll be like, I'll be studying like ancient Kemet and how they would explain their whole cosmology sort of thing, their whole way that they understood how the cosmos came together.
Yeah.
And how they did that was through the deities or the Neter, which would be like Osiris and Ma'at and Aset and Heru and all of these. So one person may look at it like these were physical people, but the deeper way they knew about it was that these were energy signatures that showed up in nature that we could tap into to bring our own self-awareness.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because
it's like frameworks of understanding
the frameworks, exactly.
the world.
So it's like how I use my music is like, okay, let me see how I put it. So learn about that. The energy signatures, how I like to look at it, like, okay, what am I? Because even with scrolling on the phone, the explore page could tell you what to think and how your whole day gonna go. But if you have that certain awareness to be like, okay, let's relate it to Asar. Asar would be maybe like the enlightened form, whereas Heru could relate to the hero's journey. You still climbing up to that state. Ma'at would be the justice and balance. How you calling that into your life? So we could relate it to in that like cosmology or that lore. We could be like, okay, these energy signatures they use to help them see their world. So through my music, I'm like, okay, what words can I say to, even with the subconscious mind, trigger something in people's minds where it's like they just start thinking different. Whereas if you just using Instagram and Instagram show you a big booty shaking and this and that, so it just goes back to how people using it. Like we have the power to create our own reality. So it's like if we letting the social networks do it for us, you know, it's not gonna turn out good. So with the mysticism, I'm like, these narratives existed for a reason, like to help give people insight into how they can view the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So putting it in a certain lyric, like even on Baby Blues, I'm like I might say some raunchy shit, but then I'm like, I'm real big on bearing witness and I got sense on that. I'm a big type of essence, brush your hair and smile, you flash. Like I'm relating it to loving a shorty, but I'm saying I'm a big essence. Like I'm giving myself credit for my energy. And then I'm like, take a trip out to Tennessee, got pyramids over there, like relating it to the history of like, okay, yeah, this pyramid's literally all over the world. Like, what did these civilizations know more than just whatever Walmart is selling today? You know what I'm saying? Like, anybody could go on their Instagram and just search up some spiritual stuff right now. So it's just like knowing that power is there, like even now, like even especially with the technology, like.
So what is spiritualism to you?
Spiritualism.
Because a lot of people, I feel like spiritualism is like a bunch of things that you have to do, and then some people just, or like something you have to possess naturally. I feel like just having a kinship to people generally gives you spiritualism because you're just feeling other spirits. But some people have more like hardline type of things. But I'm more of a like in the AI episode, if something can compute or something, like I'm very into larger definitions because the more you kind of constrict something, the more you limit it. But what do you think, Trent? Unless you think free.
Yeah, let's go to free. I was thinking about the AI episode.
I guess relating it back to the energy signatures is just using certain energies to put yourself in certain spaces. Like, so through the spirit, if I eat a mango, I know that's going to be better for me than if I eat 10 bagels, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so like when people say,
them 10 bagels be hitting though,
yeah,
I'm sorry. Sometimes you know, if I had a 10 bagels in a row right now, I would be loving life. I'm not going to.
So I feel like when someone would say, oh, you in good spirits, like that means it's a person who like they in good health. They got some vibrancy to them, some like vivacity or, you know, words like that. So, but through the spirit, that's how we able to connect with our soul. Like, so then the soul is where the message is able to come forth. The intuition is able to show itself, like the guidance, or it could be purpose, but sometimes your soul could just want to be full-fledged and it may want to chill, you know what I'm saying? It may just, you know what I'm saying? But if you, even with technology, if we put in our God in technology or diversifying all our attention spans and all these other things to where we're not able to give energy internally, like even relating it back to Kemet, on they mystery schools, on their temples, it would say, know thyself. Like that was their first law. You gotta know yourself. So if we looking for our meaning in outside things, that's something where we might not get connected to our spirit. So looking at like spiritualization, it's more of a, you know, internal way of seeing the world rather than trying to get our definitions outside of ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the good
I like
spirits would relate to being in good spirits or being in tune with your spirit. That's gonna help you get to your soul and see like at a soul level like what really resonates with you. You know?
Yeah, I mean, even in my first song, like visions and everything, I had mentioned I love philosophy, so like it was like something I wrote when I was like younger, but it was like incongruities in my shape and made me shapeless, so amorphous, I'm amorphous, I'm more sophisticated.
Ooh, damn.
Damn, that show's hard.
Let me let me keep it simple for you niggas. In case you transients, got Nietzsche. Word to Nietzsche, God is dead. So I just enlighten tracks, let the Holy Ghost flow. One eclectic coming back. Put my name up on the map. NYC is where I dwell. Hailing from a sewer with a dollar and a dream attached to my lapel. And I was like,
But that's your spirit though. Like
That was-
at your soul, you had a certain resonance with certain ideas in your physical reality that your spirit was then like, I'm gonna express it in this way.
Yeah.
Like, you know, beyond, you was like the idea of God, like breaking beyond that. Like that's how your spirit expressed it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, what do you think Nietzsche was saying when he said God is dead? In your opinion, because I know the academic like feeling, but also that's a really crazy statement to say and a very existential one, and it makes sense within the context. So for the listeners,
the
the context was it wasn't like he was saying that religion or our relationship to a higher being is gone. It was more so taken out of context like that as something kind of a scare tactic, like, oh my gosh, what is he saying? That's a crazy statement. But he was saying the importance of religion as a societal like pivot in terms of like Christianity was everything, only thing in Western culture for like a good minute. So like if you woke up, like let's say feudalism and medieval times, you woke up to the church bells, you went to bed, you said your 5 prayers a day. You like that was the fulcrum of society. That was like the focal point. But in the age post like an enlightenment, it was like we had a lot of reason, and then we try to create societal systems that were outside religion. And so like he was trying to express that the societal factors kind of just like having to have a 9 to 5, having to have like certain things or certain routines for an industrialized society, kind of superseded a lot of the initial or like the previous ways we kind of set up society, because everything kind of oriented around like a faith-based like nation or something, or faith-based kind of society. And so that's where he was like, God is dead in that sense. He was like, yeah, the importance of this kind of center has become different. So you may have a relationship with like higher beings and higher powers, but it's not like society functions entirely on your belief of that. It may allow like different types of beliefs or something like that, but it's pretty much like not everything operates on that type of timing. Like you could still function as a person and go to work, still provide that without having to be like looking to clergymen every day or type of thing. Like it's less likely for you to be in the 1900s looking to like, I don't know, pay the priest indulgences to like free your spirit.
Yeah.
But in like the medieval times, that was like a big contention, because a lot of rich people would buy indulgences from the church to kind of free their spirit, and that led to like a schism in the church and all that type of stuff. And that was like a huge, profound thing. Now it's just like,
Wow.
I don't really need to do that. It's just like personal relationship with what I believe in, type of stuff like that. So that was the original context for that statement. An abridged version, because it goes deeper than that. But what is your relationship to that statement? How do you observe that? Because a lot of times you mention like your relationship with technology, and a lot of it is dealing with kind of like, I guess I'll say it like this, like new God syndrome, in the sense that like your idealization, your kind of dreams, aspirations, hopes can be propelled onto something other than a spiritual being, whether you believe it to be or not. Like you don't have to implicitly believe in like putting your whole like thing in a phone, but just your actions of waking up, looking at your phone, waking up, looking at this. It kind of emulates a lot of waking up, go to the field, say a prayer.
Oh, I was just about to say it becomes a form of worship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so how does that how do you kind of navigate that in terms of like your dissection of the statement, God is dead, brought to you by Out Ego versus the algorithm.
Nah, like that's it. I guess I'm still trying to like
Process the whole
process
thing.
that.
Yeah.
Like, what?
No,
That was a thick question.
that was a thick question. I'm not gonna lie. This is my first guest.
That question had a lot of baby fat on it.
Yeah, I had a lot. You know, I'll be having some soul food. I don't know what you.
That's fire.
No, take your time. While you're thinking about that, I'll just throw in my back to what spirituality is. I think it's simply being connected to something.
Yeah.
And connected to something beyond the physical, but sometimes using the physical to enhance that connection.
Yeah.
Simply put.
I feel like you touched on that. Like you'll be in good health if you eat the mango versus the 10 bagels. Like it nourishing your physical with good things also nourishes your spirit in a sense. So you are what you eat. If you're on the feed every day on Instagram, seeing the big booties, so it's not going to benefit your feed
that too.
per se.
Your mental diet. Also.
Not to say that
important.
that sexuality and all that endeavors. It's just the place and time in which it hits you is not always the best. There's always a time and place for things.
It's kind of like what you were asking earlier. If the internet is inherently bad, and I think the most obvious question is no. It's just like anything else. It's simply a tool. It's all about how you use it, and anything within excess can be bad, but that all depends on the person. And, what you let into your space as well. But yeah.
I agree.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, it's about what you calling in. Like, but I guess how I related to the God is dead, like how I aim to connect with my higher self. Like, I'm more inclined to say I'm a God rather than let somebody tell me who God is to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or even let humane ideals that may have been created to even oppress people, rather than using that as my basis of identification. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'd rather just be like, I come from a divine place. You feel me? Like, some of these things out here really don't even make sense for real. You know what I'm saying? So connecting with that divine place is how.
It's the prison doctrine. Shout out Foucault.
Wait, so break that down though.
Okay, so I've been thinking a lot about Foucault, and he's talking about a lot of systems, and shout out to Philosophize This, because what a beautiful way to articulate. Yeah, what a beautiful way to articulate deep philosophical kind of ideas. But there's a philosopher, I have to get his name, that precedes Foucault, but he talks about the panopticon, and the panopticon is essentially those old prisons that you see with the big watchtower in the center, and then it's a circle of different prisons. Mm-hmm. So basically at the time it's the age of reason, and they're trying to understand the best way to kind of create a prison. And I think his name was Bantham. Let me see. But yes, so that idea of having kind of the all-knowing watchtower in the center, and having they call it an asymmetry in your relationship to knowledge. So think of it as a two-way mirror, in the sense that you can see everything that's happening one way, but nobody could kind of see back. And a lot of times in a lot of systems, that tends to be the thing. So you have confidentiality practices kind of hidden behind a shroud, an iron curtain per se, if you want to use Cold War type of thing. And then you kind of have that infiltrate how you go about your day. And so you're constantly being surveilled or something like that. And kind of just understanding how that influences the reactions that you get. You've ever seen those hidden camera things? The biggest question is is it a real reaction because you're being watched, or can you ever truly get to the essence of how somebody would react? Because somebody reacts differently when they're being watched. Like, is the tree like that's an age old question? Like, does a tree fall? Does it make a sound? Like, if without, which is I love that one because as a sidetrack, because I feel like that one's kind of made out of ego. Because it's kind of like if a human being is not in the area, well, things exist without us.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, but that's a little irritating.
We got tangents upon tangents.
Yeah,
tangents because I kind of want to dive in. Every time we say something, I want to dive in.
That's a little. But we on guest episode. We gonna touch back.
My bad. Yeah,
Dive in.
No, it was something specific that you said, like
Yeah, we got time.
I
This is a long episode.
I guess this is based on like how the internet has affected me.
Yeah,
it just made me think of this one interaction that I had the other day. It was really odd. Like I was walking, right?
Yeah.
I had my headphones on again, but this time no one offered me fellatio. You haven't gotten to that episode yet.
I'm sorry. This is the first I heard this.
And
man,
I see a lot of those videos where it's like people ask for something, and then when something simple, something to inspire kindness, and then once they do it, they get a reward. Blase. So I was walking to work through Grand Central, and there was a gentleman sitting on the steps of I think it's like a restaurant there, right where you go from the ramp. But anyway, I had my headphones in, and he started calling to me, and I was like, oh shit, he recognized me from a job, or because a lot of people, no matter what, if I've got my work shirt on or not, people think that I work there and they want to ask me questions. I figured that's what it was going to be initially, and then he was like, hey man, I'm sorry to bother you, and I was like, okay, he's probably gonna ask for some money. I was like, I hate to do this, but it's my birthday, and can you take a picture of me? I was like, oh shit,
wow,
of course,
Word,
that's a different reaction. Yeah, no.
And I was like, but I mean, it's not like I ever mind doing something for someone, but I was like, yo, is this one of those internet things, like where they're like, oh well, how you react is gonna determine whether or not you get a gift. And I mean, it's honestly the type of person I am. I wouldn't have done it any different, but it just it put me in that space.
Interesting.
Because I immediately thought like, damn, he might not even be from New York. He's, it's his birthday and he's sitting by himself on the steps. I would want to at least be that person that shows him some kindness, and he might, which may inspire him to pass that energy on. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that really mattered to me. Not whether I actually got something out of it, but we live in a weird time where, helping someone out makes you question that kind of thing, where you have to step back and it's like, yo, is this a real situation, or is this one of those situations that's facilitated in what's the word I'm looking for? The situations that's manufactured, and that's such a weird thing to me, that we live in a world where you have to question something like that. You have to question
reality.
Your own, reality. That's, I don't know. That's something you said made me think about that, but
a lot of that's another thing. I want to touch on. Oh, my fault, free.
No, I just want to say, like, even when he asked you the question, he was like apologetic about it, like like that's just so interesting, like.
But he was respecting the peace, and I appreciate that, because sometimes I think people apologize, but they don't. You can kind of see it in their mannerisms on whether they mean it or not. But I mean, like that wasn't too intrusive. But I'm sorry, you were about to say something. My bad.
No, I just wanted to touch on that, like, and even what you said about, give him good energy so he could carry on, maybe share good energy with someone else. Like, that's important. I feel like that's a concept too. People really don't be pondering anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, just do good for the goodness sake, sort of say. You know what I'm saying?
Because I was thinking about that the other day. I was thinking about that today. Today is actually my father's birthday.
Wow.
He passed away back in 2004. And then recently, last year, I lost my aunt, who's like one of my most favorite people in the world. And she was always positive. Like she's one of those people that kind of walked in a room and she touched everybody, as far as like bringing the energy up with her laugh and with her smile. And I think about
God bless.
yeah, God bless. Shout out to my aunt. She was a wonderful person. And I get depressed about that often. But one of the things that I think kind of keep me going is like I think about all the things she passed on to me, all the goodness she had in her life, from whatever strangers or people she met, I think that's sort of, an accumulation of all that. And she put that on me. She put that on everybody, but she put that on me. And it's kind of my duty to sort of put that back. And I think, at the end of the day, it does feel good. But I just think about like how many different people, touch you throughout a day. And we interact with so many people, especially me. My job, I see like 7,000 people a day.
I feel you that working.
And it's like I've been trying. Like lately, we've talked about burnout, and I've been trying to combat that in different ways because I've been, because I don't want to be the reason a person gives up on something. I'd rather be the reason somebody fights for something.
Well, we could touch on burnout generally because. Yeah,
no, let's save that for the episode. Unless you want to speak your piece about it.
Yeah, what do you feel about burnout? Just to kind of
artistic
coordinate.
burnout.
Artistic burnout.
I guess I don't know. Like, what keep energizing me is like I said, a mango. Like keeping it simple.
Yeah.
If I like out of comfort, am like, oh, let me get a burger and some fries, and then I gotta have me, a milkshake.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
like feeding the flesh. That's where I would burn out. But if I'm like, all right, now you gotta stay disciplined. Gotta be, what I'm saying, not being too rigid with it, but still flow, but still know like, okay, if
Having some structure. Yeah,
some structure.
Oh,
I'm not going to talk too much about it because I was going to save it for the burnout episode when we do it. But giving yourself like little treats, I call it. Like, I remember one time I was just like having a terrible day and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to get ice cream. And I got it. And then I felt happy. And that's all it took. It didn't like solve any problems. Like the problems that were making me were still there. But at the end of the day, I had like a thing of ice cream. Same thing with friend got me like the movie tickets. I talked about this in another episode, but I just went to Mission Impossible one day after having a tough day. I was just like, having that little spontaneity helps too.
Yeah, true.
I think a part of that is balance too.
Yeah,
a lot of people call it work-life balance, but it's about balancing, the different things the different places you exist in. If it's too much ice cream, then it's bad. But if it's a little, it'll help you say, you know what, this is why I'm doing it, so I can enjoy it every now and then, so I get that little 2 scoops or whatever. I think a big part of that moderation is a good way.
Yeah,
to
moderation
put
for it.
So you never experience like any moments where you're like, yo, I need to take a break.
I
Like,
definitely do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even it was like 2 weeks ago I was at the stew and I was just like just had no booze, had no booze, and it was like, especially when it's like that point where you feel like you're forcing it, that's where you're gonna feel it double. So I was just like, like last week I went upstate. That's where I was in the forest and shit. I was like, I just needed to, and that's when I realized how much New York was on me, cause I'll smoke weed, I was chilling, but when I get high, I be super paranoid. But being upstate where it's quiet, all you hearing is crickets. It's not so easily where someone's just gonna creep up on you. So why am I paranoid when I'm by myself? So I really had to do like psychoanalyzation off of the weed, like. And I was just like, that's when I knew, like, yo, bro, you just got to take those moments and really chill. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, we don't get a lot of nature in the city per se. Like, you can go to Central Park, but even then, you got to worry about stuff and
the static is just like,
oh man, yeah, there's value in silence. For real. Definitely.
For real.
Wow, that's dope. But how often do you go upstate?
That was just a one time.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
not really that often. Well,
It sounds so good though.
yeah. Well, it was like an Airbnb type of thing. So
oh, that's
I was
fire.
just chilling. Well,
You ever done something like that, Trent? Where you just kind of like did a solo mission by yourself?
A solo mission. I'm about to do it.
Oh,
In 2
yeah.
weeks, I'm about to do it.
Oh man, you
This
see,
gonna
I'm
be-
excited.
Yeah, it's gonna
That's
be
dope.
a journey. It's gonna be a journey.
You told me, and I was just like, that's
Yeah,
that's
but
genuinely really fire.
it's
But I want to
definitely
save
gonna
that.
be a good reset.
Can you like share where you going or not?
Yeah, I can. I don't know because we don't know when we're gonna release this one. So yeah, I'm. So my birthday is on the 27th, and I'm taking that week, and I'm going to Iceland.
Fire.
Yeah, and the inspiration with behind that, I don't know if you play video games, but there was this God of War documentary, and a big inspiration for the environment was Iceland, and I was looking at it and I was like, wow, it looks fucking incredible. Like there's no skyscrapers, no buildings, no man-made things, and I was like, yo, I need to go there one day. Fast forward 2023, like I'm finally doing it. After working all year and not making time for myself, I'm doing it.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bjork.
I love it.
For this album, her spirit was with me. Like I was watching her interviews and
Venus
for
as
real,
a boy.
yeah, shout out to her.
That song is so different. I know it's her most popular song, and I feel bad for like that being my favorite song because she has a lot of good songs, but just like the simplicity, the way that the production is, and her vocals, it's like the spirit of it. Like you could feel the love that she had for like whoever she wrote about. Like it's crazy. Venus as a boy. Dun, 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 dun.
Amazing.
Copyright.
Yeah. Yo, but
Man.
That's dope though. That's dope.
Yeah. I'm excited. And I'm gonna be going completely by myself. So
That's a solo
I'm
music
excited
for
to
real.
see. But speaking of music, you know what hole I fell into the other day?
Right.
Fucking Alanis Morissette came on.
Ooh.
You ought to know. Yo, that song is such a fucking great song. Like that whole that you
Is that the one where she's in the car? The
No,
video?
that's ironic. This was the one she did where she was, who was it? It was one of the guys on Full House. She had a breakup. That's like probably one of the most famous breakup songs out there, But yeah, it's definitely, there's some raw emotion in that song, and it's just such a well-crafted song. The whole album, Jagged Little Pill, is good, but I had to like, it was one of those songs I had to like run it back like 3 times after I heard it. I was like, but yeah, my bad. That was besides the point. Yeah. So
No, I love our tangents. That's my favorite part of the podcast. When we just be tangents.
Nah, even like touching on Iceland, I saw something where if you go to Iceland and make music over there, they'll cover 25% of your expenses.
Wow.
I might have to make it out.
Yo, that'd be far. Just like imagine like recording sessions and now have like the little Kanye situation. Like he had to go to Hawaii or something to the lore. Like just go, we had to go to Iceland. My fault.
No, that's
That's
what
the whole campaign. Word.
that's what fucking not Al Green. Marvin Gaye did when he recorded What's Going On, that album. He went to the mountains, for inspiration. He kind of isolated himself. And then same with Ghostface Killer. He went to, where did he go? I think he went to Africa when he wrote Supreme Clientele.
Oh, shit.
And then I believe Raekwon went to Miami when he recorded the Purple Tape. So that was kind of like everybody kind of goes on their, their journey, to kind of get outside of their own world to kind of get a different perspective of their world. So
It's important.
What do you think about world building?
I think world building is important. I think it's as far as what? Wait, are we talking about on an artistic level?
Artistic level and just like your own personal narrative. Because sometimes I just be narrativizing my life. Like I just be like, this day is supposed to kind of do this thing. So it gives me a sense of self. So kind of builds the world around me. And even when I make stuff, like I try to build a world for it and kind of expand it. So yeah, how does like world building kind of like influence you in terms of like, because you guys are creative, so it's just like I make something. So it's just like, what do you guys? How do you feel about that?
For me, I feel like that's where the power is at. Like you can really create your life. You know what I'm saying? Like even with Basquiat, his final paintings was like literally him writing on death. Like he knew like subconsciously something was telling him like
he knew,
some, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like that's what adds to the mysticism of it. But even like for him going through that personal experience, you mix that with the money the fame, the drugs, the maybe unresolved trauma, like that's all gonna show up in a certain way. So it's just like with the world building, that's where you could really either create your demise or really create, you know, like even with alchemy on a metaphysical side, like you could really mold it into your own type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like if I let my childhood shit mess with me, I would be probably simping or something. You know?
On Instagram looking at big booties.
I'll be on OnlyFans, you know?
Yeah.
But I was like, no, like, bro, this music calling you, bro. You gotta go
Yeah.
to. But if I ain't go to it, I would have been feeding that narrative.
Yeah.
So I had to, you know, world building is important.
But, yeah, world building is important. I'm gonna reference a short story.
Ooh.
It's from this really, really interesting book. It was a book of basically short fiction, and each story is a zombie story. But one of the ones that always stuck with me is called Naming the Parts. And it was about this child who, you know, they were a kid. And so what their parents taught them was to, everything you're afraid of, name it. You know, that way you can identify it, and then it's no longer an unknown. So I think that's part of it too, being able to define the things around you. You know, that whether it be a true sense of control or a false sense of control, it still gives you a sense of control, you know, and it helps you tell your own narrative. Because too many times, you know, in history, people's narratives are told by someone else. And if you're making an album and you're creating all these things, you know, to coincide with that album, it'll give people a clearer picture of your world. You know, does that make sense? So I think that's why it's important. You know,
That is important.
That's so
building
fire.
your own narrative. But yeah, so
Yeah, before
damn, I
listeners,
gotta get back to all my art. Damn, I need to go home and draw something.
Well,
It's funny. You know what's funny too? I was writing in my head while y'all were talking. I was like, yeah, this is. I got to get this poem out.
That's fire though. That's fire.
that's how you know we're creatives. We just be creating, like,
Yeah.
in the midst of it, or be
And we
like
inspire
dreaming about
each
it.
other. That's the one thing I love. It's like even before we did the podcast, like one thing Lucas and I would do is we would just walk around the city and talk. And then now when I talk to you, I get inspired. I want to do something now.
Same. I'll be looking at
Free,
you.
you know what I'm saying? That, you know, first time meeting you, I'm inspired and I want to
I'm
go do
grateful.
something. You know, that's the one thing that I love about, you know, what we do. And this, you know, it's funny. I don't think I said this on the podcast yet. You know, starting off this year, I had a set of intentions. The only person I think who heard this is two of my homies. And I was like, one of the things I said to myself is, I'm not gonna this is gonna be the year where I say yes to more opportunities, and I'm not gonna let anything pass by. And I think it's really
I've seen it.
I think this shit
I've
is
seen
like
it.
is really starting to happen.
That's dope.
I've seen it.
That's dope.
Like,
Yo, this year is unfuckwittable so far. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
It's hard.
The hard times are hard, but you know what? Like when we sit down and do shit like this, it makes it all worth
It's a
it.
blessing.
You know.
oh man,
That's how you know you like tapped in though. Like when it could be in the middle of a conversation, you getting a whole vision to the creation you want to do. You know.
And I was tired before we started this. I've been up
Yeah.
since 5.
Damn.
Nah.
I worked out. I went to work and everything. But yeah, I'm good now.
That's so fire. And it's such, I don't know. I just be enjoying, like, not the most technical phrases. Like people be like, oh yeah, you use a lot of big words. But sometimes when I just be like, I've seen it, that's so profound because it's just like encapsulates all the thing. But yeah, like shout out to you, Trey, because
shout out to y'all.
you've been inspiring me the whole year, the whole year. And shout out to everyone that's like been inspiring me, because y'all be keeping me going through the rough moments. I be like, nah, I got a purpose, sir.
Yo, shouts out to all the people we fucking met this year. Yo, it's been a great year.
Oh man.
Y'all the fucking ball. We gonna rock out with y'all.
Yo.
Forever.
Yeah. Oh man, but any closing thoughts? Any closing thoughts?
Man, you create your reality, hone into that vision, know what you got to be disciplined on, and free spitty through till they free their spirits too.
Yeah.
Where can they?
Out ego.
Yo, where can they hear the album?
Man, everywhere, Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. It's free as spitty through. Our Eagle dropping new song every 13 days.
Spell that for the people.
So FREEESPIRITU. Another way of, I guess, phonetically like getting it is free E, spirit U, free E, spirit U, free spitty through.
Ooh, I like it when you break it down like that. Yo, shouts out to you, man. God damn.
That's right. It's a tough day. Thank you.
That's what's up.
That's how you do it. That's how you motherfucking do it, because we out here.
Yo, an ASMR freestyle is like so funny.
Let me unwrap the plastic. Just gonna take it off real slow.
I'm not supposed to be here.
Yo, I almost kicked the soundboard off the.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
Any shout outs, thank yous?
Man, shout out Mama. Shout out Pops, yo. Shout out that shorty that be showing up in my dreams. You feel me? We gonna get on that, baby. I'm gonna get you, baby. I'm gonna pull up on you, baby. My brother Sam, my homie Cindy, Basquiat, Jules from the X, Prince Inspiration, June Janor, Nell Devon,
Hey.
Demi Devon,
Hey.
Bliss Up, yeah.
Bless up. Say shout outs, thank yous.
Shout outs to everyone. I'm just loving life right now. Even I'm just loving life.
More life.
More life.
Yo, shout out to all the people who do great and good things when cameras aren't rolling.
That's a fact.
You are propelling this world forward in a better way. Yeah. And with that said, thank you so much, folks. You have been a wonderful invisible audience. Amazing. Free to inspire. Until the next time, I'm just gonna let this play out though, because this shit's so beautiful.
You gotta kick a freestyle real quick.
Get back on the side. Not supposed to be here. We alive. In the sky, yeah. Free to that free day. When I see them, oh, dropping balls while doing ASMR. I get it like that. Yeah. And we right back. Yeah.
Peace.